He called her Piggy in front of everyone. She made him squeal for real. It happened in front of the entire cafeteria. Trays clattered, whispers sharpened into laughter, and the world seemed to freeze around her. As she shuffled past the popular kids' table with her food, trying to ignore the glances, the whispers, the phone secretly recording, she heard it. "Move, Piggy." The voice rang out like a cruel trumpet. The tray slipped from her hands. Her heart dropped harder. Everyone turned. And there he stood, golden boy of the school, Ethan Cruz. Football captain. Grinning. Proud of his little insult. No one stopped him. No one defended her. Some laughed so hard they cried. She stood still, her cheeks burning, her breath hitching, her soul cracking, but she didn't cry. Not yet. She just picked up her tray in silence, and walked away, as laughter echoed behind her like a cruel anthem. If you believe in kindness over cruelty, if you've ever wanted someone to get a second chance, or to prove the world wrong, then please, take a moment to like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. These are the stories that speak to the heart, and your support helps us share more of them. Natalie Dawson had never been the it girl. Not in middle school. Not in high school. Not ever. With her thick glasses, secondhand clothes, and round frame, she lived quietly in the background. She was the girl others walked past, not with malice, just indifference. But Ethan's cruel joke had changed something that day. He didn't just laugh at her body, he made her feel like she didn't deserve to be seen at all. It wasn't the first time someone teased her. But it was the first time someone broke her in front of so many witnesses. That night, Natalie stared at herself in the mirror, touching her round cheeks, her stomach, and the streaks of mascara down her face. She wondered if she'd ever be enough for anyone. She'd been kind. She'd helped others. She was smart. Top of her class in science, always volunteered at the animal shelter, but none of that had shielded her from Ethan's words. And worse, no one stood up for her. Not even the teachers. But something cracked inside her. Not just pain. Not just shame. Something sharper. A fire she didn't know she had. She didn't want revenge. Not in the way Ethan might expect. She didn't want to break him. She wanted to rebuild herself. To stop hiding in the corners. To stop letting people like him write her story. The days that followed were difficult. Whispers in the hallway. Memes made from her cafeteria humiliation. She wanted to disappear. But she didn't. She showed up. Every day. Silently. Until one day, something changed. Coach Ramirez, the PE teacher, caught her staying after school, running laps alone. She wasn't graceful. She wheezed. Her shirt clung to her. But she didn't stop. Something in her eyes told him not to pity her. Trying to get in shape for something, he'd asked gently. She nodded. Life. Coach gave her a nod and a private challenge. If she trained with discipline, she could join the school's strength training program. Not for a trophy. Not for popularity. Just to push herself. For herself. Natalie took that offer like a lifeline. For the next 9 months, while others partied and scrolled, she trained. Mornings before class. Afternoons after. She worked in silence, away from the spotlight. Squats. Lifts. Ropes. Her body began to shift. Her confidence built slowly, like layers of steel. Not because she became thin, but because she became powerful. Strong. Defined. Determined. But she also grew in other ways. She entered a regional science competition, building an AI-powered prosthetic limb design that won second place statewide. She started tutoring underprivileged kids on weekends. Natalie wasn't chasing validation, she was creating a world where she mattered. Where kindness was her shield and resilience, her sword. By senior year, Natalie was no longer invisible. But she hadn't become the center of attention either, and that suited her just fine. She was known now, not for her body, but for her brilliance and strength. And yet, the world has a way of circling back. Prom season arrived. Glitter, gossip, and drama flowed freely. Ethan Cruz, still the golden boy, but now with a tarnished edge, was struggling. He'd torn his ACL. He was off the football team. His college scholarship was in jeopardy. And worst of all, he was being quietly abandoned by the very people who once idolized him. Natalie hadn't thought about him in a while. But fate had a twisted sense of humor. One morning, Principal Greaves made a surprising announcement. Due to budget cuts, this year's prom would be organized and run entirely by the student council, with open sign-ups for volunteers from every grade. Natalie, now on the committee, ended up co-leading the logistics team. Guess who signed up late and got assigned to her team? Ethan Cruz. At first, he didn't recognize her. He looked tired. Bitter. A little lost. But Natalie hadn't forgotten. Not the cafeteria. Not the laughter. Still, she greeted him politely. Gave him tasks. Treated him with the very kindness he once refused to offer her. Over the next few weeks, Ethan began to change. Slowly. He showed up on time. Stayed late. Didn't joke. Didn't flirt. Just worked. Occasionally, Natalie caught him staring, not with arrogance, but curiosity. Maybe even guilt. One afternoon, while they were decorating the gym together, he finally spoke. "Why are you nice to me?" he asked quietly. Natalie looked up from the banner she was painting. "Because someone has to be the better person. And I've worked hard to become her." He looked away, shame in his eyes. "I was a jerk." She didn't argue. Ethan's apology came not in words, but in actions. He started helping others. He defended a freshman being bullied in the hallway. He offered his time to help set up tables, clean up trash, even fix lights. No cameras. No audience. Just quiet redemption. Then came prom night. Natalie wore a deep emerald gown that hugged her new silhouette, not thin, not hidden, but strong and radiant. She didn't wear heels or contacts. She didn't become someone else. She was Natalie, finally proud of that name. As she stood under the soft lights of the decorated gym, Ethan approached, nervously holding out his hand. "May I have this dance?" he asked, in front of everyone. Some jaws dropped. Natalie hesitated, but then took his hand. Not because she wanted a fairy tale, but because the story had changed. As they danced, the same crowd that once laughed at her now watched in stunned silence. Some whispered. Some smiled. A few cheered. She didn't care. She wasn't doing it for them. She had forgiven, but she had never forgotten. And just as the music paused, Ethan leaned in and whispered, "You're the strongest person I've ever met." Natalie smiled. "You made me squeal once. Now I make the world listen." And she walked away, head high, back straight, heart full, not into the arms of a prince, but into a future she'd built with her own hands. She wasn't a victim. She wasn't just a girl someone once called Piggy. She was a force. And he? He had learned the hard way what real strength looked like. If this story touched your heart, if Natalie's journey inspired you to believe in growth, forgiveness, or your own strength, please like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. We tell stories that remind us what resilience, dignity, and redemption truly mean. Your support means everything. Special request to comment: if you've ever been underestimated, or if someone once tried to define you by a moment of cruelty, share your story below. Let the world know how you rose above it. You never know who might need to read it today.